everyone, it is today's Quick Serve, your microdose of the Serve podcast. Just a quick catch up and update on the 2025 Australian Open. Day 4 down under was a good one. A lot of stars on display. We had some blowouts. We had some matches that were more hotly contested than a cabinet confirmation hearing. But no, a lot of good matches, a lot of stars in action. Just get right through it. I think the headline has got to be Naomi Osaka, two-time champion, beating Karolina Muchova, who is not only an excellent player, but beat Naomi Osaka at the previous major, the U.S. Open last fall. And for about an hour, this was almost hard to watch. Muchova was so good, and Osaka was having such a hard time finding the court. And then, as she did in her prime, which might still be continuing, Naomi Osaka just turned it around and suddenly raised her level. Peak Naomi Osaka is major-worthy tennis still. It's been the case 4 times in the past, and it was for the last hour or so last night. Just a brilliant comeback, beating a really game opponent, probably the best win since her return from maternity leave. You know, it's 2 matches in, and she still has to play Coco, and it's easy to get sort of irrationally exuberant, but this was a really, really big win, a real statement. You could tell just from the glee that she showed after the match how much this meant to her. Naomi Osaka beating Muchova. Many of us pegged that as the match of the day, lived up to the billing. What else happened? Carlos Alcaraz was like video game good. He was player 1, and Nishioka was the unfortunate opponent. 14 aces for Carlos, which is a big number, especially considering that this match didn't even last 90 minutes. He signed the camera serve bot afterwards. I don't think he's a serve bot, but that was really impressive. In a weird way, maybe we're not talking about him enough. He didn't play a tune-up. He's sort of been lost in some of the Sinner chatter, and Novak's going for his 25th major. Carlos Alcaraz has been terrific through 6 sets, 2 rounds of tennis. Speaking of Novak, he won, played against Jamie Faria, Portuguese qualifier, not the guy who played Colonel Klinger, a reference for the 50 and over crowd. But Novak, not peak Novak, dropped a set, then came back to win. He is still going for that 25th major. Andy Murray stays undefeated as a professional tennis coach, now 2-0. Afterwards, Djokovic, and sometimes his post-match reaction gives you a sense of sort of how concerned he is. Again, not his best performance. We're in the survive and advance mode. Afterwards, he made reference to the Daniil Medvedev quote we talked about yesterday, how the opponent, if he keeps going like this, will avail himself to money, women, and casinos. Quick digression. How to say I have a tax base in Monaco without saying I have a tax base in Monaco. Casino, to most Americans, I think conjures up the joint on the side of the interstate where people are putting their Social Security into slot machines. I'm not sure high-level athleticism necessarily tracks with casino in the U.S. But anyway, Djokovic, a good match and a good quote. Other winners, Coco Gauff, surprisingly, got a little bit of a test, but got through. Sabalenka got through. Jessie Pegula beat Elisa Mertens, something she had never done in their previous 3 meetings. Alexander Zverev looked pretty good, getting through as well. 2, I think, I don't know, A-minus level upsets, pretty significant upsets. Laura Siegemund, 36 years old, from Germany, known as sort of a vexing player, a bit of an eccentric, but not someone who's taking down seeds and majors. She beat Zheng Chenwen of China, the finalist last year, Olympic gold medal winner. Some people had her as the favorite, which seemed a little, a bit of an exaggeration, but still a player who's a real contender. Got to the finals last year. She lost very strangely and softly, and looked sort of confused and irritated out there. Siegemund, all credit to her. Afterwards, Siegemund said she was dominating the rallies. Interesting assessment. She also had a on-court disquisition about sort of the joys and the perils of being romantically involved with your coach. This was not your average post-match interview, but Laura Siegemund scores a huge upset. She's almost 37 years old and beat a player who I think was number 4 with the odds makers. That was a surprising result. A little less surprising, Jakub Mensik, very talented Czech teenager, beat Casper Ruud in a 5-set match. That sort of flat power on a hard surface is always going to be trouble for Casper Ruud, and that was the case yesterday. Also, let it be known that Seb Korda made a mockery of some prognosticators by going out to the Australian Alexander Vukic. Strange match, 7-5 in the 5th. There were some concerns about Korda's elbow, but yeah, honestly, picking Seb Korda to reach the finals, as some people did, may have been a bit of a stretch, but by the same token, that is not a good defeat for Seb Korda, who has so much talent, so many people so high on sort of the raw materials, and it just hasn't come together and coalesced. Anyway, what do we got? Pack day 5, Iga Swiatek in action. We've got the Italian buffet of Jannik Sinner, followed by Jasmine Paolini, Taylor Fritz, Madison Keys on the docket. Keep an eye, this match has a huge delta. This could either be a blowout of two players at different points in their career, or a real match to follow, which is Lerner Tien, the young Californian, against Daniil Medvedev. Lerner Tien plays sort of a vexing style. He's got some shot making, but just is really solid, good mover. That's the kind of opponent that Daniil Medvedev can either hit through and win 6-2, 6-2, 6-2, or can frustrate him to the point of defeat. That match could sort of be one of two extremes, either upset or 90 minutes of just a superior player with superior power. Ben Shelton is in action on 1573 Arena. That's the 5th arena. Boy, are you happy you have a ticket there, because that is where the sensation of this tournament, João Fonseca, the Brazilian teenager, plays Lorenzo Sonego. That should be a lot of fun and a lot of shot making. We'll see if Fonseca can back up his win over Rublev. That's sort of the next stage in this ascent as a young player. You win matches, you score an upset. Then can you back it up 48 hours later? And speaking of Sonego, if you get a chance, play around on YouTube and watch the winner he hit on Stan Wawrinka. Here it is, January, and we will submit you may not see a better shot for the rest of the year. Fonseca against Sonego is a big match to follow. On a personal note, Heinz Kluetmeier was a generationally talented photographer. He worked for Sports Illustrated, took the picture of A Miracle on Ice. One of his photos was evidence in Michael Phelps barely winning a race and getting a gold medal. I mean, this was one of the great photographers of our era. Also a huge, huge tennis fan. His father was a POW, and his taken to Tennessee, and his punishment was building a tennis court. Heinz, perhaps from that experience, was a really good player. High school captain, and also a great tennis photographer. Loved shooting tennis, loved portraits, loved the action, loved Roland Garros and the red clay in particular. Find a photo of Rafa, Roger, the Williams sisters. Odds are good Heinz took it. He passed away yesterday at age 82. And in tribute, in between points or on changeovers, I encourage you to find some of Heinz Kluetmeier's tennis photography. All right, that will do it for today. As always, as it was written, like, subscribe, leave a review. Andy will be back with us soon. Keep LA in your thoughts. Enjoy day 5 of the 2025 Australian Open. It's been a good one so far. I'm Jon Wertheim. Thanks for watching, listening, and we'll do it again tomorrow.